Welcome to the edition of Let's Play Farming Simulator 2013 on the Bayern Farm. Alright, so we finished harvesting our field and we are currently seeding it. And we're seeding it with canola. So while our seeder is doing that, we're going to take a load of straw to the mixing station so we can so we can start on that process, or at least get close to it. The more things we put in that mixing station, the closer we get to actually having something from the mixing station, which is good. I love how we have these conveyor belts. This makes me happy. While the graphic, there's no graphic, I'll accept that. They work. And if you remember correctly, the reason why this particular tipper can accept straw is because I modded it. That's the reason why. Normally, when you get this mod itself, you can't take straw on it, but I modded it, so basically it takes pretty much everything now. Let me just show you. What does it take? It accepts wheat, barley, canola, corn, grass, grass windrow, dry grass, silage, fertilizer, sugar beets, chaff, manure, potatoes, manure too. So there's different types of manures. I don't know why I did that, but and forage mixing, wheat windrow, barley windrow, dry grass windrow, and grass windrow. So it basically accepts just about everything. And anything it doesn't accept, for example, like oops, getting ahead of myself. Anything it doesn't accept, for example, like a multi-fruit, like soybeans, for example, I have the multi-fruit mod installed, so it doesn't make a difference in that scenario. Alright, so let's head out. We can head out that way. Yes, excellent. Let's just take the road. Oh, this is totally the wrong direction. Let's go the other direction. Well, this will do, I suppose. Alright. Whoa, I totally just took the wrong turn. Oh, man. I should have gone a bit further than turned. I guess I was getting a little ahead of myself there. I think what was happening is I was looking at the map and not where I was going. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, that makes me feel a little funny. Alright, so we're currently seeding that field. We got our class. He is doing that for us at the moment. And he'll be done in a while. And it will definitely take a while. So what we're going to do is going to take a little trip down to the BGA. And we're going to take a roundabout way of getting there, apparently. Well, that's fine. So there's our class way down there, if you can see it. Way down there. But this gives you a chance to check out the different things that's on this map. There's tons of stuff here. And it's like every single time I go and... Is that a fox? Check that out. That's a fox, apparently. Just randomly chilling out. Apparently he's solid. Yeah, but he's just chilling out there. I guess he's come out to play with whatever's out there. Alright, so... let's head this way. Where is that plane? There's our plane landing. It's so cool to see that, but it does seem a little frequent if you ask me. Just saying. Alright, so we have a facility down here. Do you want to go to the Feldering Trong? No. Can we actually sell stuff there? No, it doesn't look up here as if we can. And there's another field up there, but we don't need to go there. We need to go to the BGA, so we're going to head down there. So our BGA, after we drop the straw off, will have straw and silage in it. And we'll need to put grass in it. Which is our next thing we need to deal with. I think I just came up with an idea. Does it say BGA here? I don't think so. No. I just thought of something that might work and might produce a good chunk of straw. There's another little town right here. Oh, crazy. I didn't remember this one. Oh, I have seen this before. Okay, never mind. There's something everywhere. Every time you look around, it's like, what's that? What is that? what's that? And you're like, I don't remember. But it's pretty cool because you kind of try and figure out where things are. There's the BGA down here. The signs make my life a lot easier for getting to the BGA. Nice big grass field right here. And tree stand over there. Nice, look at this. Nice little area. So this is what I'm thinking for grass. The thought is that I will use some sort of cutter, and then I could use our forage harvester to chop up the grass, which will give us a better yield than just picking it up regularly. That was the thought. Now I can easily do that, so it's not a huge problem, but it does mean we'll have to cut the grass, which means we'll have to get something to cut the grass. Let's just try this. I'm curious as to whether this will work with straw. So remember, if you've been following along, this works with silage, or yeah, it worked with silage, but you had to back right up into that can right there. It's the same thing. Yes, it's the same thing for this. I think the trigger point is in the wrong place, guys. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be able to just drive over that and not do the silly thing I had to do last time. But we are going to put some straw right in here, and if you look closely, it has like a little door that opens up. Pretty cool, eh? Alright. Let's just verify that's going where it's supposed to go. Let's just check the meter over here. Good. That's exactly where it's supposed to be. Well, better safe than sorry. Alright, let's just tip the rest of it out there. And that's basically a full load of straw, because it holds 50,000 liters, I believe, of straw. Or it should, at least. I didn't actually check that. Yes. Yeah, 50,000 liters is 100%, so. We're at 93% with what we got in there, which is good. Alright, now let's take a little turn here. So, what we can do is, once we get back to our farm, I almost said base there again. Once we get back to the farm, we'll have to take a look at what options we have available to us in terms of grass cutting. We could do one of the ones that, the big arm that swings down. That's a possibility for cutting grass. Although it doesn't put it in a windrow or anything like that. We could get the pull behind with the auto swather on it. Although that would mean some manual work, which is okay, I suppose. And then we could use a forage harvester after that. That's a possibility, actually. But I don't know what the... I'm not sure if it should be a more efficient. Not necessarily more efficient, but definitely I'll get a better yield if I do it with a forage harvester. Alright, let's turn left here. So much easier not going through town. Going through town is just a pain. And I haven't gone through town actually with this. I don't think I've gone through town with this truck, but because it is a bit longer, it will make things a bit more interesting. Not a crazy amount, but enough. Perfect. This is where I wanted to go leave the first time. So as you can see, we got a big little pile of grass there that we can definitely use. Alright, let's just turn here, and we'll turn in here. Perfect, look at that. So now, our mixing station just needs grass. Let's take a quick peek at what we have available. What do we have here? We have... where are we? Mowers. So we have a front mower. We have the horsepower for that. And we have the horsepower for that, and for that, and for that. Oh, yeah, we'll do what we have to use. I don't think our Ford can actually use that, and that's what I'm thinking about using, because it holds 76 horsepower, yeah. That's what I thought. I don't know. Because we might, if we, depending what mower we get, we may need a windrower. That's 10 grand for that. And 10 grand for that. Now we could do something. Could get both of these. That needs 80 horsepower. That needs 200. That needs 85. And these don't need very much horsepower, but such a small cutting width, it's ridiculous. I think what we'll do is, can we start off with this and this? The Ford doesn't have front linkage though. Shoot. Let's just take a quick peek. No. This one does not have front linkage, so we'd only be able to use the rear one unless we use the class. But if the class is doing something else, not helpful. So we could just get this one with no auto swather. This one 70, 2.8, 2.4. This is a bit wider. Pull behind as well with a conditioner, although I'm not sure what the conditioner actually does in this particular game, with this particular mod. I know you can turn it off and on, but I don't know what it does. And this one needs 80 horsepower because of the auto swather. I'd like to be able just to jump up straight to this, but I need a more powerful tractor. I guess we're gonna have to start with this. Ugh. Or this. 2.8, 2.4. This one, if we get this, we're definitely gonna need a windrower of some sorts, or else it's not gonna be that efficient to do it. Arrgh. So many choices. I think what we'll do is, what other options do we have? 200 horsepower tractors. This one does have 200 horsepower, but it acts a little funny. Yeah, if we're trying to stick with class, if I remember right, 124,000. Other tractors, Fent. This one could work, but a lot of people don't like this because it's so cheap, which is understandable. What other options do we have available to us? Not many, actually. That does have front linkage, 300 horsepower. That's a new mod, by the way, brought out by EuroDZN. If you're wondering, it came out a couple days ago, I guess it is now. Kurovitz. I could get a Kurovitz. I know how much people love Kurovitzes. We need to deal with the grass. What options? Yeah, I guess we don't really have much of an option here. We kind of have to go with something, or else our cows are not going to do very well, which is not what we're looking for. Alright, so let's just do this. Let's just do this one. Alright, so initially we're going to have to deliver, please. Yes, please. So initially we're going to have to do a little bit of extra work, but then as we get more, it won't be too bad, because what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to windrow it at some point. Right now we don't have enough money though, so. Alright, now let's just back this up here, and this will need 70 horsepower, so we're 6 horsepower over. So not by much. Let's just put it in work mode, and if you come back here, you can actually change turn off the conditioner or turn on. So there you go. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but still not 100% what that actually does in this. I don't think it actually does anything in on that mod. Canola's at 1200. She just planted canola. Oh well. Alright, so let's start over here now, because we do need to get some grass for our cows so we can increase our productivity. So let's just put it in the field position here. It's cool. I've actually seen one of the, not this particular brand. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. I've actually seen one of these things work, and they're kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look, they are pretty scary machines because of the amount of material you're putting through it and what it does. It's kind of scary. And you definitely don't want to run over anything. I've heard of stories of people running over animals that didn't get out of the way. Let's just say that. Animals you'd find in grasslands, basically. So for now, we're just going to do... yeah, let's just cut it off here. We don't need that much right now. And we can always do more later on, I suppose. I don't think I've ever used this particular conditioner. I've always used the other one that has the auto swather on it. This one's not really that different. It's really just the same thing. But it is kind of cool still, though. So now you can do this with courseplay, but the problem is, actually, this one wouldn't be too bad. You don't go over the same thing, but what will happen with courseplay is courseplay will just run over the same thing multiple times, and then I think it actually reduces the yield for some reason. Don't ask me why I think that's the case, but it just appears to. So right now I'm going over this. It picked up a little bit of the same stuff. So actually, this might be a better view for this. Let's just close that. There we go. Now, some views you can zoom out, and this one you can't, which is unfortunate, because that would be pretty cool if I could zoom out a little bit, like in the cab, so like it's kind of like sitting up straighter, I suppose, would be the equivalent. So we try not to go over the same stuff twice because it will pick it up and chew it out again, which is not what we want to do. But we can actually put this straight into a truck, or we could use the class Quantum 3800K. Both of those would definitely work. I think I'm going to use the truck just because I don't think this tractor can handle the class Quantum, just based on horsepower. Because if this tractor only has 76 horsepower, and I think the class Quantum needs a bit more than that. So, not sure about that. Doesn't actually say how much you need, but it's just a guesstimate, so to speak. Now, I have a friend coming into town tomorrow, so today's Monday. I have a friend coming into town on Tuesday of this week. In light of that, there may be an interruption in your regular scheduled programming, just because we might be doing some stuff. So we may or may not have an episode 1 or 2 days, depending what goes on. I'm recording something in advance anyways, so you should get it at the regular time, but just in case, I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of warning in case you are wondering what happened. It's just because someone's over, and I prefer not to record when someone else is over, I suppose. That's what it really boils down to, so. Well, this is actually working out pretty better than I thought, actually. Doesn't look terrible either. As long as I stay where I'm supposed to be staying, I guess. Now, probably you wouldn't go around in circles like this. You probably eventually, what you would do is you would cut up the middle. I like going in circles, apparently, so that's the way I'm doing it. But you probably, I'll show you what you do. I think I'm not an expert or anything, but you probably go up here, and then you cut up the center or something like that. After a couple headlands. So I've done 4 headlands now, basically, so it made it a bit interesting. So now I'm going over the same stuff again, and that's the problem with doing this. That's why it was just easier to go in circles. And ideally what you do is you probably just go north, south, or east, west. You probably wouldn't do circles or anything like that. But now we can do this and just go over this little part. So it's not so bad. It's just that initial, you go over the same spot. Now technically I could have turned it off, I suppose. And you could just drive over the same thing again. Whoa, that's a little too tight, Ian. Jeez. Oh, that was way, way too tight. Alright, there we go. So yeah, I don't know, this is another possibility. I'm not an expert in cutting hay, I suppose this would be. But you probably wouldn't start and stop it. I'm pretty sure of that. If you didn't have to, at least. Because you would have to rev up the RPMs to get this working properly, I imagine, but they are pretty scary to listen to. I remember last year, I think it was, when I was at the in-laws helping out with hay. They were doing cutting later at night, so it would kind of sit for a while. And I think it was late at night. I can't remember. It was just a long time ago. And anyways, they were cutting, and you could hear the thing for like miles, basically, because it's just a pig in terms of how much horsepower you need to run it and how much horsepower it takes. So if it's like a heavier, if you have a really heavy crop, you'll hear the tractor really spouting out a little bit of well, you won't hear it spouting out smoke, but it will spout out smoke, and it will definitely, you definitely hear the RPMs rev up there. Maybe it might even get to the point where you'd have to be careful with stalling your tractor because there's just so much material going through. Now that is a really, really heavy crop, but it's definitely possible, right? So it's not impossible. So I don't know. That actually happened last year when they were doing hay in the in-laws farm. They actually had a really heavy crop of hay, and they almost stalled the tractor once or twice just because of how much material was being put through the moco, or the mower conditioner, sorry. It was pretty intense, let's just say that. Now, you probably wouldn't want to drive all over your hay like I'm doing right now, but in this game it doesn't make a difference. You can drive over as many times as you want to, and they don't mind. But if you drive over it and you have the machine running, then you may run into a problem. I think, at least. So. Perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to leave that little bit there, and I'll get this little strip here. Perfect. Like so. And then we shall check on our class to see where he's at in terms of how much he has done. I doubt he has much done because it's a small seeder, but maybe he's got a lot done. We don't know these things. Alright, now, it's funny, I thought about this after I bought this tractor. This series is supposed to be trying to get only class tractors, but all the classes are a little on the expensive side, so that's the reason why we picked up this guy here, because he was a front loader, first of all. I don't have any class front loaders, and he was cheap in comparison to a class. I don't know how much class costs in real life, but I'm pretty sure they're expensive, so I imagine it's pretty accurate, some of the prices. It's actually interesting, if you're ever curious as what some of the prices actually are like in real life, you can check out a website called Iron Search. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You can check out a website called Iron Search, which is basically searching for things like tractors, and I think there's trucks on there too. And you can just see what the prices are like, and I think they have some average price listings as well. So, or Richie Bros Auctioneers, they have some similar stuff, and they have, I think, if you sign up, quote unquote, you will have to. Well, that's where you can get some of the information in regards to prices and whatnot. So, all right, let's turn this guy off. How far are you? Not very far, as I suspected. Yeah. We would need to invest in a bigger seeder at some point too, by the way, because that's ridiculous. Oof, that's crazy. I can't. This is not powerful enough to use our. This is not powerful to use a seeder, or to use the seeder, or oh my goodness, my line's going blank. The seeder or the other implement we have, and of course, the other implement we have is the forage harvester. There we go. Thank you. So we can't use either of them, unfortunately, which makes this kind of an interesting scenario. Now, I could either end the episode here, because we don't have much else to do at this point. I have to wait for that class to be finished, because I don't want to disturb him from doing that. He is moving a bit quickly, I understand that, but I want him to finish at some point, because this has been, what, we started at half past, or quarter after, so this has been 15 minutes, and this is how much he's done, I guess. So, if you do the math of how long it'll take the rest of the field, 15, 30, 45, something like that, so longer than most people would like it. So let's do a little bit of shopping quickly. What could be, so this probably is going to be our next purchase at 13,000. Actually, now that I think about it, we actually can sell some, oh, it's straw, shoot. I don't want to sell straw. Where's our straw, manure, slurry? Nope. Barley, 17,000 liters of barley. We can actually sell our barley. Let's do that. That'll give us a little bit of a cushion, so we can buy a fertilizer spreader, which is going to make our lives a bit easier. We could actually give some of, we could give some of the barley to our pigs, but I don't think that's worth doing for the pigs, to be honest with you. Gerst, that's what we need, barley. Go figure. That's how I learned German, is through Farming Simulator 2013. Now, where is going to be a sell point? Let's head up in the northeast section, because we haven't really been up there. And I kind of want to show you that area, because it's kind of a cool little area. Alright. Should have gone straight. Shoot. For some reason, I always want to go out the wrong way at this farm. There's no like one entrance in, one entrance out. It's always like there are multiple entrances in and multiple entrances out. And for whatever reason, I never pick the right one. Alright, so we're going to head in this direction over here. Sure, let's head this way. Why not? So this is the cornfield. It's right beside our field that we don't own. And a little water well there. So eventually we'll probably want to maybe buy that field. We'll see. Not sure yet. But it is a possibility. It is definitely a possibility we can do. Actually, we might be able to go into the, what's this called? Fendleton Tang. I don't think the base accepts anything else other than canola. Let's just check. So, Henzing, yeah, only accepts canola. I think the reason why it only accepts canola is because it is a oil seed. That's my guess, at least. When I first saw that, I was kind of like, hey, is there any particular reason why it only accepts canola? And then that's what I kind of thought. That must be the reason why that's the case. But so this is an area I've never seen before of the map. One of the many areas of this map. Are those my cows? Is this another one? No. Let's just leave that idling for a second. Is this really, are these really my cows too? And is this where I give them water? Way over here? Oh my goodness, I bet you it is. I bet you this is where I give them water. We're going to test this theory in a second. Oh, goodness. I can't believe how many different random farms there are in this map. What does this one say? Desa Mung Station? Not sure. Alright, so here is another area. Pigs, I guess, get sold there. And this is the garden center. And back here is maize, sugar beets. Nope, nope, nope. And let's see how much our truck weighs. 99 tons. Yeah. That's Duke's trucks for you. Alright, now we should be able to sell this here, I think. Perfect. I was a little scared there for a second. Alright, so we have 8,600. Ooh, just enough for this manure spreader. I guess we could sell manure right there, it looks like. Let me just zoom in on the map. So that's how many sell points there are. Holy cow. And you can actually walk into those. Let's take a quick little peek. Ooh. Oh, those plants actually look pretty good. So there you go. The person even went as far as making a garden center where you can walk into. That's crazy. I was wondering if I could pick anything up, but apparently not. Alright, so we're just going to leave the truck here for the time being. And we're going to hop into this guy here. Let's fire him up here. And we're going to test this theory out to see if that area we were looking at is where we can give our cows some water. Because it does appear that way. Oops, did I really take that out? Not need to do that. We can go this way to grab some water. Might as well just fill it up. Like so. I'm not going to go down that hill. It looks tempting. I'm like, no. So we're going to go see if we can give our cows water there, because an extra 10% would be nice. Because then they only need grass and mixed rations. And we're below how much money we actually need. Shoot. Alright, so luckily this tractor is pretty quick, so we're going to go fly over to that other cow section and see if we can't give those cows some water and see if it actually gives the cows we have here water as well. I have a feeling it will, just because this is a large map and I'm still surprised you can't give them water where we discovered last time, but c'est la vie. Alright, let's just do this quickly. Well, as quick as this tractor will let us do. And I guess what we'll have to do is next episode we will have to deal with that grass and change it into silage. We'll have to do that next episode. This is an even different section we're going through. We haven't been down here either. My goodness, look at all this. Lovely, lovely map. Lots of cool stuff going on. I love the rolling hills, the green area, the trees. I love how you can drive through some of the trees. That makes my life a lot easier. Where's this other farm? It's further still. And we're going to head north on this. But look at all this area. It's so... Even though the fields aren't enormous fields, I think you guys can appreciate how nice looking this map is. Despite the fact that it is, you know, mostly in German. And then there was a couple commenters saying they prefer this map was in German. I completely agree with you. I would love if this map was in English, not German. And it would make my life easier, but it's not, so. But I haven't found any kind of English maps that are this detailed, so. Alright, so let's test this out. Alright, oops, did not want to do that. Let's hop back in, and let's just see if we can't give them some water right here. Looks like that's a no. Interesting. Let's just do a little turn here. I don't know why. Maybe they don't need water on here. But it definitely seems like I could give them water at a couple of these places. Let's just attach the pipe and see what happens. No refilling there. Oh, okay. Water's not accepted here. Well, at least we get something there. Alright, let's try and go in the barn here. I'll probably get the same thing, but... Oops. That was a bad turn on my behalf. Oh yeah. Wow. I'm surprised I'm able to get out of that. That's ridiculous. Ooh. It's the tires. The tires like stick out like 20 feet, it seems like, of this thing. Alright, let's get in cab here. That would be a bit better. Alright, now, let's see if we can't get close to here. That's pretty close. If they don't, no, water's not accepted here either. I wonder if you can accept water at the other place. Interesting. So there is, so like, it's got all the stuff here. It's got like a fertilizer. So let's just check. So let's, if it's the same amount. So right now we have 23,000. Oh, we can't actually, really? Can we not get liquid manure from this? No, we can jump in it. Get out of here. That's weird. I would have thought you'd be able to actually do something with that. Apparently not. Alright, what I'll do is I'll stop the episode there for now, folks, and I'll let that guy finish up seeding that field, and then we'll come back and we'll deal with the grass. Or hay, sorry. Anyways, my name's Ian Robson. This has been Farming Simulator 2013 on the Bayern Farm. I'll catch you guys later.